न जानामि योगं जपं नैव पूजां नतोऽहं सदा सर्वदा शम्भुतुभ्यं जराजन्म दुःखोऽगतातप्यमानं प्रभो पाहि आपन्नमामीश शम्भो।
A warm welcome to all the devotees on Raksha Sutra English. We are going to narrate wonderful holy stories to all the devotees from the book Miracles of Love by Ramdas ji, an exclusive devotee of Maharaj ji. Please listen carefully, all the devotees. People are sitting quietly around Maharaj ji, concentrating. Maharaj ji faces the opposite direction of a person when he picks up on a loose thought, and then he rolls to face the person with an expression of annoyance and love. He raises one finger or shakes his fist. If someone is meditating, he tweaks his nose or pulls his beard. He turns to a person and tells her that she is very good. Another he maligns, telling all sorts of bad stories. Again he turns to another and says, "Go, you wicked person." And the words and apples and tea and silences and laughter were all washed in a continuous river of love that poured forth from Maharaj ji. The devotees who were equally as happy with Maharaj ji's insults as with his praise, for it was all palpable love and food for the spirit. We took our cue in this respect from one of Maharaj ji's long-term trusted devotees called Dada, who served Maharaj ji with a singleness of purpose that awed us. When Maharaj ji would compliment him, Dada would say, "Haan Baba," meaning "Yes Baba." And when Maharaj ji would shout insults at him, sometimes upbraiding him from morning till night, he would reply in exactly the same tone, "Haan Baba." Obviously, fame and shame were one to him, at least when Maharaj ji was the source. No longer could Maharaj ji get Dada angry or guilty. Over the years it had all been burned out. For Dada it was all grace. Sometimes Maharaj ji would talk to one person and everyone else would listen perfectly content just to be present. There was the sport of watching the newcomers arrive, skeptical with questions, and then seeing their hearts gently open and their soft, flower-like quality emerge under the tender care of the master gardener. We would sit in those groups as Maharaj ji turned this way and that, attending now to a person at his side, and the next moment to a devotee far distant who was just entering the temple and changing the mood of the group from easy laughter to fierce intensity in a moment, and then back again. One felt at such times as if Maharaj ji was the puppeteer and we the puppets. Maharaj ji's company was very special. He was always natural like a child, a saint in the traditional manner. He set no conditions nor expected any particular behavior from his devotees. He was rarely affected by the outside. He could converse with half a dozen people simultaneously with a camera held a foot from his face. He had no form. He performed no rituals or puja. He followed no orthodox customs such as ritual bathing. Yet his presence was more than inspiring. It was enlightening. While meditating in or near his presence, even though he would be talking and joking loudly. One quickly reached the place of clear light, a place difficult to achieve without his grace and power. Timeless Darshans. Maharaj Ji often counseled the Indian devotees to sit in silence, just to sit, listen and absorb, but around Maharaj Ji that was difficult to do, for there was a continuous and compelling drama going on around him. Who came, who went, what they said, what food was being distributed, who got to sit closest to him, how he was working with each person, which person he pitied and which he yelled at, how he moved about on the ticket. One Indian told us that those of us who did not speak Hindi were lucky because it kept us from getting too involved. When there was a little silence, or when you could detach yourself from the melodrama, you could just bask in the timeless grace of his presence. The minute you meet him, if you are ready, he will plant himself within you, the seed, and time is nothing. You would forget everything when you were with him. There would be nothing but Maharaj Ji, total effortless worship. That's the real puja. Sometimes we would sit up so late at night in Kainchi talking with Maharaj Ji that we would lose all sense of time until we would hear someone taking their morning bath, and we would realize that the whole night was gone. It was one of those darshans where you think somebody must have put LSD in the tea. We would bask in his radiance. Actually, you can be more truly with Maharaj Ji when you are away from his form. At a distance, you can concentrate on him undisturbed. Darshans of intimacy. For others, what stands out is the precious intimacy that comes from experiencing another being within the same space that your own being occupies, the whisper of a lover who knows your innermost heart. Maharaj Ji never preached, never lectured, he spoke within your heart. With him, one automatically knew everything. It came through the heart, not by reading books. 10 or 20 of us would sit in the back of the ashram at Kainchi talking with Maharaj Ji. One of us would say, "But Maharaj Ji, what about so and so?" asking some question about God or life. Maharaj Ji would start talking and pretty soon everybody would be in tears. Sometimes he would start talking about Christ and start crying himself. He and I never really had much going on the verbal level, but inside I felt so much love that I would hang around. When I would leave, I would not go very far and I would always come back. It was like that with a lot of people. Maharaj Ji reached each person's heart in a way special to that person. Everyone's experience with him was different. You cannot explain what it is like to be with him. It is a thing to be felt in your heart. He was so gentle that you weren't afraid of him at all. But sometimes you would think that there must be a lion in there. 3 or 4 young Western women were at Krishna's birthday. While everyone was singing Kirtan, devotional singing, in the temple before Lakshmi Narayan, they went over to Maharaj Ji's window, which was shuttered from inside, and began softly singing a song about the baby Krishna, an incarnation of Vishnu. Devaki Nandana Gopala. After some time, Maharajji opened the shutters and angrily told them to go away and slammed the shutters again. This scene was repeated several times while the young woman continued softly singing. Finally, Maharajji again opened the shutters. Only this time he had tears streaming down his face, and he listened in a state of bhava, spiritual emotion, for quite some time. Remember where Castaneda talks about stopping the world. Sometimes Maharajji would do things to you and you would feel like he would just stop the world. Sometimes you would be listening and sometimes not, and then suddenly Maharajji would do something and you would hang suspended. There was one period in my life when I used to keep whole scrapbooks all about horses. No one else knew about them, and once when my mind was somewhere else, Maharajji turned to me and asked me about horses. My mind just stopped. Every time my mind wandered, Maharajji would catch me. He would never miss. When I wavered from the concentration in the least bit, he would catch me and put me back. Maharajji was sitting on the tucket and he leaned over and kissed Kabir on the head. That kiss affected everyone who was there. It made people feel really warm inside. Every time Maharajji would hug somebody, everybody in the room would go, "Ah!" Darshans of love. All the love and affection and kindness that came from Maharajji, you cannot get these from men. How can you describe what it was to be with Maharajji? It is like trying to describe the sweetness of a fruit or the fragrance of a rose. You never have met one so lovable, so kind, so sweet. How could you not love him? You almost wanted to give up your breath to him if you could. A devotee asked me if I had ever been caught by Maharajji's glance in a way that, as he briefly looked at me, I forgot everything but knew only Maharajji's love. The devotee said it is a wonderful and rare thing when he looks at you in that way, and you are very fortunate if you can hold his gaze in that state. He could go through your heart with just a look or a movement. The slightest thing could feel as if it were piercing you. I was leaving for Nepal the next day. It was evening and we were sitting in the back of the ashram. Maharajji never actually mentioned my leaving the next day because I had received a Quiet India notice. But at the end of the darshan, he just held my eyes with his. It was the Guru's glance, a look of absolute universal total compassion. It was love beyond words, not long, but just my being in his being, and that filled me with such, what's the word for that feeling, grief or longing, or I felt in that look infinite compassion. And even though the glance didn't last very long, its power still comes through to me, particularly at very difficult times. I was only about 16 when I first met Maharajji. It was a Bhandara feast and many people were there. When I met him, I was filled with such bhava, transported it seemed by divine love. Maharajji instructed me to serve the devotees at the Bhandara. There were many to be fed and we worked long hours, but that feeling never left me. When asked what he experiencing on meeting Maharajji, one man replied, "It is not something that can be said. It must be experienced, the love, the affection, the compassion, the grace of knowing Him. Story is long, so further story will be narrated to all devotees in next episode. To listen the wonderful holy stories of Maharaj Ji, please like, share, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell icon. Write in the comment box, Jai Neem Karoli Baba Ji Maharaj, Jai Ramdas Ji.